So I am with the hacker that hacked Brandon Perna's Twitter yesterday. Mr. and Mrs. Hacker, can you explain your motives?
Chaos. We all want chaos.
Now, follow-up question. Did you give access back to Perna because you realized that you would have had to watch the Denver Broncos?
Wow.
It's not a no.
No. We gave back Mr. Perna his access because honestly, what we found in his messages was disturbing, and we wanted no part of that. No part of that man's account.
That's just
so much hate for birds.
Yeah.
So much. There's like 400 AI generated nudes of Josh Allen. It just got weird.
That's a Tuesday.
I got to find the right button.
Oh, it's Brandon.
No, it's not. I'm Help Center.
Oh,
I'm Help Center.
Sorry, never mind. We here.
We're still.
You in the right direction. Welcome to another edition of the Grossi Perna Show. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. This is GPS. Yeah.
It is GPS.
It is.
It is. Yeah.
Let me put it this way, Bailey. I like Darnell Savage. He was definitely better last year, but the Packers had a desperate needed safety, and they still let him walk. Now, they got Xavier McKinney, but yeah, no. They depth player that will probably be a starter, but just temper expectations. I hope it does well for you.
Yeah, it's tough when a guy with the last name Savage isn't just the best player on the field.
It's true.
He has to lead in tackles. He has to have the interceptions. You got to live up to the name. Oh,
I actually don't think that's like a hard. That's pretty solid.
That's fair.
I think that's
very optimistic for the Bears too.
That is pretty optimistic for the Bears. Yes, that's if everything goes well. Yeah. I know they're late 60s, but Black Sabbath, baby. Come on now. Come on now.
Favorite 70s. That's 20 years of bands to consider. Ooh. 80. I'll say Queen.
Ooh.
Queen.
There you go. Yeah, so Perna, in case you don't know, over on the Twitters, got hacked yesterday, and I got tagged a million times. They were just like, "Did you see Brandon got hacked?" So I called Brandon, and I was like, "Hey, buddy, just letting you know you got hacked." And that was a saga yesterday, huh?
I was in the middle of a meeting when you called. Yeah, they got me. I got so hard. I feel so violated. The whole time I didn't have control of the account. I just felt like gross. Knowing that this other entity had access to like all of you guys, to like all the messages, and that's what they did. They messaged like 30 or 40 people trying to continue their cycle of hell. And I was editing, trying to get ready for this meeting. I had like 4 minutes, go to my email to join the meeting, see I have a message from Twitter about a copyright issue. And that's how it got me. Somebody like me is just ripe for like, oh, a copyright thing. Like, what video is this? What video has a copyright problem on Twitter? Look at the account. It's got like a couple 100,000 followers. And I clicked the thing to rectify my copyright problem. And then my account went capiche. And I didn't notice it right away because like you click it, it takes you like to a X screen. I'm like, I can't deal with this shit right now. Like I'll figure this out after the meeting. Like, it's not that important. And by the time you called me, all hell had broken loose. So yes, I have 2-factor verification on there. I have a strong password, but if you click a link,
So it's literally your fault. Like it is.
It's what?
Yeah, I'm victim blaming 100%. So you clicked on, it's your fault. You
yeah, it's my fault. Some asshole said I got time to destroy your life. Yeah, that's my fault. Yeah.
Ah, there it is.
Get off my lawn.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Now, Perna, today's lesson on GPS is not clicking on sketchy links who you don't
that's
know
the thing.
who
It doesn't
sent
look
them.
sketchy. It looks like it's from Twitter about a copyright thing. And somebody like me is going to be more focused on the copyright issue than anything else.
Happy birthday, Space. Happy birthday.
Knew you'd fucking blame me.
Thought
Yeah.
it was from Sketchy Life Alert.
And all
like,
of you,
sites, you know?
all of you unhelpful fucks out there. Fuck you too. Everybody who's helpful. I love you guys.
Hey, so
Thank
you love
for
me
the
because I
support.
helped.
You did help.
I did help.
Privately. Very helpful.
Privately, I literally tweeted out that you were acting.
Privately.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I'm going to send you a website.
it got me.
They got you. They got you good.
It was like the perfect storm of I'm in a rush to try and I'm trying to finish this video. I'm trying to get ready for a meeting. And then I see this thing and I'm like, can I take care of this real quickly?
Sure.
It's just like, and I did click on the account and I was like, oh, and that's how they get you. They find accounts with like decent followings so that when you get the message from them, it looks like it's an actual thing people follow. Oh, those bastards.
Yeah.
Those bastards.
But
listen, it's my fault. Like
as
a
I
real
said,
fucking moron.
Aaron Nagler, dude, like he got hacked and like, dude, it took like a month to get his account back. So like the fact you got it back in a day, like that's pretty good.
And it's like I had to just do it through the like Twitter or X help center or whatever. You fill out like information and then you get an email saying they're looking at it. And then you just don't know, like, are they looking at it? Like, they're not. There's no like.
There's
time
2 people
frame,
working
no
there.
Yeah, it's like we'll get to it when we can, and they did. They're like, we have reset everything, so now I can't change. Like, I gotta wait to change my profile picture, my all that other shit.
But you're back.
Yeah,
You're back.
I'm back, and it got. I think through my account, then it got Vic Lombardi. His account got taken over. It messaged. It was messaging like I did a sponsorship with Jack Links, the beef jerky last year.
Yeah,
they're messaging Jack Links. They're messaging like all these people. I'm just like, oh god, I hope. And they didn't use like the same thing they used on me. Like I think they've I don't know, but the copyright thing. It was like, oh yeah, this guy will fall for that shit. Because I've dealt with so many of those.
that's why if I ever got a copyright thing from Twitter, I was like, take the account. Just good. Just delete it.
Yeah, you can just have it.
Just delete the account.
You can just have it.
Just delete it. That's
anyway, we will talk about the NFC North.
It was like X support. They were pretending to be at like Twitter support.
Yeah.
But
and then they just like retweeted all these like actual things from Twitter.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was like all these actual X posts.
I don't know, man.
Like,
I don't know, man. I like how many have the Vikings finishing last. I like this. It was a good.
Oh, I got something for you. I got you a present, Tom.
Oh, did you?
Yes. Okay. Well, first I gotta set it up. So Will's sick. Jess got sick, and I was telling Johnny like I didn't really have a script, and he's like, "Hey, I got an idea," and we did like a recap of just the most random game. It's like it's week 17 Broncos Packers from 2003. And I agreed to do it before I realized that the Broncos were resting their starters. And it's mostly just like a great game for the Packers, which is why I'm sure Johnny suggested it. But the game was interesting. So we did like a new worst of this episode. And I'm watching through like this old ass game. And I find just the best Phil Simms soundbite. So this is the first part of it.
Oh, is it literally the start of the video?
Yes.
Or pump it inside to make him come. Or pump it inside to make him come.
The little, he knew what he said. But here's my gift to you, Tom. For everybody actually in the NFC North that is not a Vikings fan, this is one of the most and I'm sure a lot of Vikings fans know this clip. I'm sure Cardinals fans know this clip, but
Oh, you're talking about I know what you're talking about.
No! Make him come. No! They're Minnesota Vikings crying on the field.
No! I was down, so I know exactly where I was when that happened. So I was downstairs in my dad's basement area, and the TV at that point, it wasn't against this wall, it was against that wall. And I was a Packers fan. I was 13 years old, and I remember watching that, and the Cardinals, who were not good that year, needed to beat the Vikings, and it was the last play, threw it in the end zone, gets the touchdown, and Packers make the playoffs because of it. Vikings get eliminated. Oh, I remember that vividly. Vividly.
There are Vikings crying on the field.
Cry, Vikings.
Oh, that one stings.
Good. No, it's great. It's one of my favorite
The
clips.
worst thing you can say in that moment about the team that just lost. Look at all these babies crying on the field as we destroy their dreams.
They're crying.
Oh.
Crying. Let's go.
And I was like,
James.
the game I should have done is the one the Broncos played the following week when the Colts just eviscerated them in the playoffs. But it was this game, it reminded me, one, Danny Cannell played for the Broncos. Jarius Jackson completely forgot. He was a Broncos backup quarterback for a while. So it was fun to remember stuff that I had completely forgotten.
It's been a while.
Yes.
I mean, dude, you're talking God. Oh, God.
Yeah.
2003?
I guess you were 12 in the video. I didn't do the math. I was like, a 12-year-old Tom
13.
Grossi.
Yeah, because it's December, right?
Yeah.
It was December? Yeah, so I was 13.
Yeah. I said 11 at first, but then the joke I was making, I was like, no, he needs to be 12 for having his first football ejaculation. 11? No. 12? Okay. So, classy. I said, in somewhere Tom Grossi was experiencing his first football ejaculation watching this. And it was true. You just talked about how excited you were.
No! Make him come. No! They're Minnesota Vikings crying on the field.
I will say that's probably my favorite clip that we have now. I'll say that.
If there was a Chiefs version of that, it would be, I would play it every day when I woke up.
John Heidel, come on now. Kendall hitting. I saw that man throw the ball. I saw it. I saw it. McCown. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Paul Allen. Paul Allen, is not a bad broadcaster. He's just a baby, though. Oh, my goodness. He cries about Matt LaFleur. He cry, Vikings. Just cry. It's true. Larry Fitzgerald, baby. And Larry Fitzgerald then would go and haunt the Packers throughout his career, too. So it's just full circle. It's just full circle. All the way around. But speaking of...
I mean...
Get.
I like to think about Larry Fitzgerald if he had played with a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback for his a majority of his career.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you could argue that he is the best receiver ever to do it based on the handicap of being a Cardinal his whole career. That's a tough handicap for a skill position player.
One of the greatest wide receivers ever. Oh, okay. But you have to play for the Cardinals. Oh. You see, hey. Went to the Super Bowl at least.
Yeah.
That's the monkey paw.
It was you got the bedazzled genie or whatever from that movie.
It's true. It's true.
All the wishes were just slightly cursed.
Ha ha ha. 4th and 26. Ha ha. I remember that vividly too. That one hurt. That one hurt.
Yeah, it was fun in that Packers-Broncos game. There was a play where Jarius Jackson threw a really bad interception. And it was after he made this really cool scramble. And I wrote, I was like, he scrambles, eludes pressure like Patrick Mahomes. And then I was like, then he throws it like Jameis Winston. And in my head, I was like, I could say Brett Favre. And I was like, I think Jameis Winston's a little bit funnier. And then literally like a play or two later, Brett Favre just fires an interception and he throws it in the end zone and throws a pick. I was like, no, I got to go with Favre. I got to go with old Favre here.
I was talking, that was when I was overseas, and like we were talking to like the fans at the fan event, and a lot like Brett Favre got a lot of Packers fans like into the Packers, just helped with me too. And it was the kind of just sitting with it of, yeah, you loved watching Brett Favre play because you didn't know, is he going to win you the game in the most insane fashion, or is he going to lose the game in the most heartbreaking fashion? That was the gunslinger.
Yeah, no, he had one of the most insane arms, I would say, in NFL history. Like, sometimes I'll see Favre highlights, and I'm like, I forget how good his arm was. I just think people forget. Like, it's just ridiculous.
No, dude, I mean, he is one of the best quarterbacks of all time. I mean, I think they just did a Mount Rushmore on NFL. I just saw like a quick article about it, and like Favre and Rodgers were on there. I'm like, yeah, Favre, listen, nowadays it's not great, right? Just like the things that have transpired, but like, you know, on the field, no, the dude was.
He is now the ex-help center of hired quarterbacks.
Yes. He was Twitter, but now he's the rebrand of X.
He's the ex-help center.
Everything's worse now.
X people.
Everything's worse. Everything's worse. So, oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, JaMarcus Russell stole, was it like $72,000 from the organization that he was coaching for? That was like supposed to be a donation.
Yeah, from a high school.
Yeah, from a high school.
So he was a volunteer coach, and he got fired from being a free coach because he allegedly tricked a local business into giving the school $74,000 for new weight equipment. Took that check, deposited it in his credit union, and then withdrew $55,000. So now he's being sued by the credit union, and he is countersued. So yeah, there's going to be like a trial, but
it's great. It's
JaMarcus, come on, man.
Dude, that's what he did. Yeah, he was the gunslinger. He's like, I'm going to break somebody's fingers, like when I throw this ball, and I'm going to throw it as hard as I can, as far as I can. Like, there's like those, you and I talked about this. We were talking about like fixing the Pro Bowl, and they used to have just like who could throw it the farthest, and like Favre just like, you know, these guys, and Favre's just like, all right, and just like launches that thing. Mm-hmm.
You'd have to put like Favre, Elway, and Josh Allen as like three of the strongest arms like in NFL history. Like Favre and Elway had that same thing where they would break your hands if they could throw it any harder.
I mean, he did break fingers. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember watching like this thing about guys having to train with like those things that shoot the balls out. And they're like, we can't even get these things to shoot it out as fast as like Elway throws the footballs. Like these aren't good enough to train for.
Yeah. Cause it's just like, oh no, I can't do this, dude. Yeah. There's some crazy old clips of Favre just gunning that ball.
Yeah.
Dude,
and that's like, it's one of those things that's cool. And obviously like the good quarterbacks know when to do that.
Sure.
Because you see guys throw it too hard when they shouldn't. I kind of felt like Jay Cutler was a little bit like that early in his career.
Smoking Jay, baby.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you got to slow it down a little bit. There's a thing called the touch pass, guys.
Hey, you do not talk crap about Jay Cutler, okay? He's one of the greatest Packers QBs of all time. Okay? The amount of completions he had to Packers players was significant. Do you know how many games that he helped the Packers win? You know, help set up the Packers go to the Super Bowl and win that year. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to show everybody one of the greatest shirts ever.
That's right. Is that Beavis and Butthead? Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
I ordered this, and they sent me a Texans one first.
Oh.
I was so excited to get this shirt, and then I get a Houston Texans one. I'm like, what the hell? So then just showing Carmi who Beavis and Butthead are. And then later in the day, she's like, what were their names, Dad? Butthead and what?
Matthew Stafford. I would say not maybe not most, but like he's pretty underrated in terms of his arm strength too. Dude, Stafford, just watching him all those years in the North, that dude could freaking sling it. Like, that's why I'll always have respect for Matthew Stafford, you know, just like as a player, because dude, the toughness, 1,000,000%, and he had an insane arm too.
Yeah. Cutler had an insane arm.
Sure.
I'd say his arm talent a little underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is in there?
See, I don't know about Mahomes is an insanely talented. I wouldn't put him as like number one for like arm power. Then that's not a knock on him. It's just a different skill set. Like, I mean, that guy's just winning Super Bowls and is just doing insane things that those guys never did. But it's just different.
Mahomes probably, like, in terms of like
an insane arm though.
Angles, like I feel like he can throw from any arm angle better than any quarterback I've watched.
It and he's like upside down mid cartwheel and is like, hold on.
Yeah.
Get that there.
Yeah. And he obviously has a very strong arm. Like, he can throw it anywhere on the field. But like, you're talking like Favre, Elway, and Allen, those guys are like, you see the power when they throw it. That's like the difference. Yeah. It's not saying they're better at throwing than Mahomes.
Michael Vick.
Can you just enjoy your 3 fucking Super Bowls in silence, Chiefs fans? Can you just, for 1 second, not try and force us to talk about your QB? He's good. We know it. Shut up. Thank you. Oh, yeah, Randall Cunningham. Very strong arm. Mike Vick had a strong arm.
Yeah, he had a crazy arm. Yep. Yeah, exactly. He sees it all in like code and he's just like, oh, here's where I go. Boom.
Mahomes could have the strongest arm, but the way he throws, it looks too smooth. You know what I mean? It looks a little too effortless for you to calculate that he's maybe throwing it super hard. Sure. That's a nice compliment.
Sure. That's a nice compliment, he says.
Who has the weakest arm ever?
That's why. But more just because I saw a plushie and it was really cool and they were like a new team. So I was like, yeah, why not? Why not? Why not? And that's it. Parno, we're talking about the NFC North today.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do this.
Okay. Okay.
Got myself a chicken burrito.
Okay.
All right. The Detroit Lions.
We're going to start with Detroit, even though they're probably winning the division?
All right. Well, calm it down there.
I'm a DJ of the screen.
Calm it down there. It was already up there. So, yeah. Dude, Michael Vick had, like, I remember some of those throws where he would just overthrow guys. I mean, and it would just be like a 60-yard bomb.
Yeah.
Like, what was it that first against the Commanders, right? Or Washington back then? What was it to, it was to Sean Jackson? When he was like, hey, watch this first play. And they're like backed all the way up and he just chucks it and it's a touchdown, literally the first play of the game. Was that the one where he threw like 6 touchdowns that night? I'm pretty sure I went up against him in fantasy that night, which was not a good day. I went up against him and I went up against the Muscle Hamster that one game and he had like 43 points like in fantasy.
Damn.
I still remember that. And I was like, I don't know if fantasy's fun.
Yeah, that's the worst when you just keep hitting juggernauts. It's like, doesn't matter how good your lineup is, you just get destroyed.
Yeah.
Because you're playing against guys who have their players have the best games of not just their season, but like of their career. And it all happens the same season against you.
Yep. And it was like, okay, cool. I'm just screwed forever now.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the Lions. Because the Lions, obviously, they made the NFC Championship game. They probably should have won that game, but, you know, they didn't. Their secondary, I would argue, is kind of like the weakest point last year, and they addressed that this season. Going and getting Arnold, I think, is a really, really good move from them.
Branch in year 2. Nice.
Yep.
And I like the addition of Carlton Davis. I feel like he was a very solid corner in Tampa Bay, so their secondary should be better. It doesn't even have to be the best. It needs to just be like middle of the road secondary.
I think it's both, Jared. I think it's both. Yeah, middle of the road secondaries be fine because their line is good. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson, I think, is going to have an insane year. Jack Campbell, I'm excited to see what he does year 2 just as a player because he developed pretty nicely. And then like you look at that offense, dude, and it's where are the gaps? Like where are the holes? And there's not many. They have a fantastic offensive line. Sam Laporta was one of the best tight ends last year. Jared Goff just got paid a ton of money and like plays well. And then of course you still got Monty and then Gibbs year 2. That's another player that like I'm really excited to see how he's going to be utilized.
Yeah.
On that behalf, because I mean I think he's gonna be a fantasy stud, but they're gonna want more at like the guy that I think has a lot of pressure on him is Jameson Williams. Like
100%.
Williams really needs to have a great season, needs to stay on the field, like needs to be productive because they spend a good amount of draft capital on him. I know I was very upset when they drafted him. But yeah, he needs to have a good season.
Yeah, if this isn't a breakout season for JMO, they're going to draft his replacement in the next draft. Like, I think that's where the Lions are at. And it's crazy because he has the talent and he's this like home run threat for the Lions.
He is, yeah.
And he just needs to be a little more like consistent in the regular passing game. That isn't just the big 30 or 40-yard touchdowns. I think he led, or at least was tied with the most 30-yard touchdowns for the Lions last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been like 2 weird seasons for him coming back from injury. Like his rookie season was just about getting comfortable on that leg again. And then last year, the suspension. So I think he's a fascinating player to watch this year. And I think like it's funny to see like David Montgomery listed ahead of Gibbs on the depth chart. But to me, it feels like the Lions are going to lean on whatever running back on a week-to-week basis that they like the matchup for.
Mm-hmm.
Like they won't be scared to give Montgomery touches, even though like we all saw how explosive Gibbs is last season. But yeah, their offense, their only weakness you're looking at is Jameson Williams.
They like Khalif Raymond. Like I like Khalif Raymond. Don't get me wrong, but like that's where okay, maybe they need another wide receiver if like JMO doesn't work out. That's like where they, but again, like Gibbs could be used as that, right? Like Gibbs could be, you throw the ball to Gibbs. Like Monty, red zone guy, definitely just hand him the ball all day. He's the ground and pound. But yeah,
they'll find somebody to step up into that role. I feel like to me, receivers are easy to find in terms of like that third production guy when your quarterback's good. And I think Goff is good and he spreads the ball around too, which is the right fit there.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoa! Yeah. Jerry went a Benny! Boop! For the kitty. They're the favorites in the North simply because they have less holes than the rest of the teams in the North. I mean, valid. They are a pretty solid, complete team right now. I mean, I love both lines, the trenches. They've been building them throughout the draft. You know, they got DJ Reader too. There's some exciting stuff going on with Detroit.
And bringing over like Marcus Davenport opposite Aiden Hutchinson, if that works out, like that's kind of been the missing, I don't want to say piece on defense, but and DJ Reader too. Like that's nice in the interior. But I thought like James Houston was going to be the other edge guy. Like he had this like crazy stat line his rookie year where he had played like 8 snaps and had like 2 or 3 sacks. Like it was like bizarre. And I think he got hurt last year. And so, you know, they're trying to find that consistent edge pressure opposite Aiden Hutchinson. But yeah, you got to feel they're going to be 1 or 2 unless something terrible happens. I think the other question with the Lions is like, how does this team perform now that expectations are as high as they've been in, I don't know, since Barry Sanders was there?
Yeah. Yeah.
I crumble when expectations are hard. That's why I get curious about it, Tom.
How easily we forget. John even says,
thank you to John Elway, or John Elway.
It's still a great cut.
God,
Still
John.
a great cut. Yeah, we'll see what
John Elway
does, because their schedule right now. So I have their schedule up. Just give me 2 seconds. Because their schedule, they won the division, right? So you would anticipate that they get a little bit of a tougher schedule. So they open up against the Rams, which is going to be fun,
That's fun.
right?
That's a great.
That's gonna be such a great, and that's Sunday Night Football, dude. It's like the opener. Like that's gonna
Hell
be
yeah.
that's gonna be a lot of fun. So like that will be a tough matchup, right? Tampa, I think, will be like a little bit challenging. Arizona and Seattle could go out. I think they'll be all right. They have an early bye week, but then they got Dallas. That'll be a fun game. I'm sure that they definitely want some revenge. Maybe as long as people report. Yeah. This will be a tough game. This they have this stretch of Packers, Texans, Jaguars, Colts. That could be a little bit of a tough stretch. Then they got Packers again. They got Buffalo. Yeah, San Fran. It's not the worst schedule.
It looks pretty tough. It looks like a tough schedule.
It's not the worst one, but that's fair. That is very, very fair. Can't have expectations. I mean, I think they're going to be finishing. They're a playoff contending team. I agree with you. In the NFC, I think their main competition is going to be like the Eagles, the 49ers. I think the Packers are going to be competing with them. It just depends on what the North looks like this year, too.
Yeah.
We're going to see. We're going to see.
You got to be a surprise team in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so that's the Lions. So we both agree, like, they're going to be finishing near the top of the division, if not the top. And they're going to be a playoff team. Okay.
We've got the Chicago Bears, presented here by Best Buy, of course. Use promo code. Just go into Best Buy and yell GPS, and they will give you whatever you want for free.
I think they'll just probably point you towards the GPSs.
JP. Oh, you're looking for a TomTom? Oh,
it's true.
All right.
Okay.
Everybody's already crowned the Bears with the greatest receiving core in the league. I don't buy it yet.
No.
Don't buy it, guys.
Their receiving core, right? DJ Moore is phenomenal. Let's just get this out of the way. Keenan Allen, a 1-year rental, but that veteran experience, it's not a bad thing for your brand new QB to throw to.
No.
Rome, I mean, the ceiling is insane. The ceiling is legitimately insane. Is he going to be able to make that kind of impact right away? We'll see. But the wide receiver core, like, is the part where you don't really worry about the Bears too much. The Bears just have a bunch of question marks. Center, that'd be kind of a little bit of a concern, but their offensive line has gotten better over the years. Caleb Williams, of course, is like, is he going to be the guy? We just are not going to know until he actually takes the field. They got Swift instead of, going with like a Saquon or something like that. I don't mind that. Again, it will also help, I think, Caleb Williams a bit too. I do like Khalil Herbert. But yeah, their offense definitely has some question marks. It's just you don't know what they're going to look like on that side of the ball.
Yeah. They need to be able to run the football. And they've got 3 running backs who can do it in Swift, Herbert, and Roschon Johnson. Like, that's going to help Caleb Williams. Like, if they ask Caleb Williams to try and do too much too early, I think that's a problem. We don't know, like, what kind of passer Caleb Williams is going to be in the NFL yet. We know he has all the talent, but it takes time. You got to feel better about their defense, though. Montez Sweat, that was a great pickup for them. The smarter pickup, than Chase Young when those 2 guys were traded out of Washington. But it's not like I think their defense is stacked. You know what I mean? I think it can be pretty good. Jalen Johnson, one of the best corners in the league. We thought when Kevin Byard went over to the Eagles that they were going to win the Super Bowl. Hope he's a better fit here in Chicago. But it's Chicago, you just feel good. And as long as Caleb Williams looks like the guy, you don't really care about the record. You just want to feel like he's your guy.
I will say, again, once they traded for Sweat, because they had a fire sale for their defense. Once they brought in Montez Sweat, you saw them getting better. Eberflus, the defense was getting better, and he's a defensive-minded coach. I think that kind of is what saved him. And then they're like, all right, this is your last shot here. I'm going to kind of play devil's advocate. I don't know how sold I am on their linebackers right this second.
TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds. They spent a lot of money on those 2, not this offseason, but the previous offseason.
I'm not 100% okay, but yeah, I kind of agree with this. I think it's around 7 or 8 wins. I still think they're going to be a lot better than the worst team. Well, they weren't technically the worst team. That was the Panthers. They're going to be better than, a top 3 spot, but I see them having like a solid year. So we'll see.
Yeah. I think Cole Kmet's one of the more underrated tight
TJ
ends
Edwards.
too.
Edmonds worries me.
Also solid fantasy pickup, I think, Cole Kmet. But
yeah, TJ Edwards, I have no. It's Edmonds. Edmonds, I'm like, that one, I'm not 100% sure about, but we'll see.
hey, if they get more from their offense too, that always helps your defense.
I have them finishing 3rd. Like I have them finishing like solidly 3rd in the division. I see around like 7 or 8 wins for them, and that'll be it. I think it'll be solid.
It's a good roster. It's a improved roster for the Bears. Like they've added a lot over the last couple of years, and now it has to start to work. That's all it comes down to.
Kmet can like be that guy. He can. And like that's why I'm also curious of like what we're going to see with Caleb. He could be.
I would argue their quarterback was wildly inconsistent.
You could make that argument too.
That's your tight end. Tight ends really need their quarterbacks to be good, even more so than the receivers.
Yeah. All right. So we got 3rd.
Okay, Chicago. Let's go to those Minnesota Vikings.
That's the Lions.
Yeah, this. All right.
The purple
This
incarnation.
guy's face. Get out of here.
4th
Fuck
place.
out of your face.
4th place. 4th place. 4th place. Gonna suck. They're probably gonna beat us once, which is gonna make me really sad though.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
You don't know? Oh, so is there hope?
No!
There's not.
No!
Are the Vikings gonna be good this year?
No!
I'm gonna get a lot of mileage out of that clip. I'm just letting you know.
Honestly, if the Vikings do beat the Packers once, it's going to be because Sam Darnold is playing well.
I think it's Aaron Jones is gonna be the guy who's gonna get the ball a cajillion times against the Packers.
Yeah, but like my point is, I think Sam Darnold has a shot to be a good quarterback for the Vikings.
Sure.
This year. I think it's expected that he's going to start. This is the most talented roster. I mean, he was on the Niners last year, but he didn't play. Like, if Sam Darnold can't make it work with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and Aaron Jones to hand off to, then he's going to accept a role as a lifetime, like, backup.
Mm.
And I think he can play well with that crew. And I think Kevin O'Connell, like, he's got a good head coach. It just feels like JJ McCarthy isn't going to start for a while because Sam Darnold's going to be looking pretty good for the Vikings. Possibly.
I think if you're the Vikings, the smart thing to do is just rock with Sam Darnold this year until you think JJ McCarthy is ready and then start getting him the reps, right? Because there's no reason to throw him into the fire. No. So again, they have a squad. Like their receivers are really good, right? They should be pretty solid. That defense, which was abysmal a few years ago, is like slowly starting to get better.
Yeah, Brian Flores did a solid job with them.
He did. He definitely did. So I think that they're going to be like a solid rebuilding team this year. But they need pieces still. They need pieces for their team, and then maybe, they'll be contending. Yeah. But I think they're going to be fighting for 3rd place. Like, they're likely going to finish 4th. And it's not really reflective on like, oh, their roster is terrible. It's just, you look at the Lions, who I think they have a very solid roster. I think the Packers have a very solid up-and-coming roster. And then the Bears, a lot of question marks, but I put them ahead of the Vikings right this second. If they kept Kirk Cousins, we're having a different conversation right now. But it's just because you're going to be rocking with a brand new QB.
Dude, if they kept Kirk Cousins, we'd be like, we'd be like, who's actually going to win this division? The Vikings, the Lions, or the Packers? Like, it's going to be tough up top.
Mm-hmm.
Those three, if Cousins was there, the Bears would be pushed down because of the unknown with Caleb Williams.
Absolutely.
But
Dallas Turner. It's a good point. Yeah, Dallas
think
Turner. I'm curious.
The Vikings have like the toughest decision too in terms of like when they bring in J.J. McCarthy. Like if they're sucking with Sam Darnold, it'll make their decision easier.
Sure.
But like Caleb Williams needs to start right away. Jaden Daniels should start nearly right away. Bo Nix should start right away. And I think Drake May, they might not start him like week 1, but you can get Drake May out there pretty quickly. McCarthy's the raw one. He's the guy that has the most one. He's the youngest too. So he's got the most time to wait.
Yeah.
But he's got the least experience of those guys in terms of being a passer. And I don't know if JJ's going to just look like he's that much better than Sam Darnold at practice and shit. Like Bo Nix, doesn't matter if he looks better than like Stidham or whatever. Like you start him. Jaden Daniels is going to look like he's going to look like one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league at practice. Like he's insane.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams is going to look that way. So the Vikings have an interesting decision to make. We'll see if their edge swaps with Jonathan Greenard, and oh God, who'd they send over? Who went over to the Texans? Why am I drawing a blank? The Vikings edge rusher.
Oh, good God. I know exactly what you're talking about.
God.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Nope. His name is off.
Danielle Hunter. Jeez.
That's the one. God, Danielle Hunter.
Danielle Hunter.
Because they got Cashman from the Texans as well. And he's a solid linebacker.
Yeah.
He's solid. Sure.
How many receiving yards do you think Justin Jefferson can have this year?
He's probably still gonna have 1,000.
Maybe, yeah, but like,
I mean, you're gonna have Jordan Addison, right? So like Addison, we'll see kind of how he progresses this year. Like he definitely has shown those flashes, and he was solid. So
that's a hard fantasy thing to figure out.
And he's still going to be, I think, one of the top wide receivers off the board, if not the top. I think Tyreek Hill maybe goes ahead of him, maybe. But
sure.
Whoa!
But it's just like, can Darnold and McCarthy get him the ball? Wow.
Has been with a 2. Oh, no.
It's very confident.
I think Packers will win. Hell yeah.
With the Browns avatar. You clearly don't believe in the Browns, which I respect.
Johnny John John! Woo! Johnny John John! Woo!
And just because.
No! Make him come. No! They're Minnesota Vikings crying on the field.
I'm going to get so much use out of that. You have no idea. That's one of the top, like a top football moment for me. So
yeah. See, I told you I had a present for you.
It was great. Has been.
Also, I think Van Giegel is a really nice addition. It's just like, when's he going to be healthy from his, I thought he tore his ACL. He had some season ending injury, but
it's going, I mean, again, I think they're going to be like a solid rebuilding team right now.
They've got guys.
And like, if JJ comes out and is like crushing it, cool. Dallas Turner was mentioned in the chat before. Really curious to see how they're going to utilize him.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Hasbin. You're crazy. You're crazy. Thank you.
Don't forget about Dwight McLaughlin. That's my sleeper pick.
HK, but that's what you're drafting guys based off potential. And the Bears are like, yeah, this guy has the highest ceiling of what we've seen.
Yeah.
So you just got to see how that's going to translate to the NFL. I mean, that's college is great, but it's not necessarily like an indicator of like, oh yeah, things are going to go really well. I mean, look how many first round busts we have all the time, right? So
it's tricky.
We gonna see. And then you have guys in college who didn't really get a shot, and look how they're doing now. You never know. You never know. Are we gonna talk about the Packers? Yes, we are.
Da 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 da.
All right, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers. So, youngest wide receiver core, cheapest wide receiver core in the league. Also, really high effing ceiling for those guys. The Packers literally kind of threw their hands up and were like, let's see what we got at safety. Let's see what we got at wide receiver. And for wide receiver, they were rewarded heavily. Christian Watson, went to go see a hamstring specialist, hopefully like is able to stay on the field, because when he's on the field, he can be really, really good. Romeo Doubs, red zone extraordinaire. Bo Melton. Thank you, Seattle. Bo Melton looking real good. Jaden Reed, phenomenal last season. Dontavian Wicks, one of the best route runners, if not the best route runner on the team right now. There's so much excitement with this wide receiver core. Like, they didn't add to it because they saw this, like, everyone, I think, except one guy is under the age of 25. And we're like, yeah, we're just going to rock with this because there's so much talent there. And the question that I'm constantly getting is, like, who's going to be wide receiver one? Who's going to be wide receiver one? And Love has come out and said this, and so is LaFleur. Like, there doesn't necessarily have to be one. It's like, no, like, because any of these guys can be wide receiver one at any time. Like, you saw Romeo Doubs, for example, like in the Dallas game. You've seen that with Christian Watson. You've seen that with Jaden Reed. So Bo Melton was the first wide receiver last year in the Packers to have 100 yards in a game last season.
Yeah, they've got great depth. And if Christian Watson's hamstring is actually healthy, if that was kind of limiting him last year, like, he's kind of the X factor for me on your offense. Like, I feel like he can be so good and so dangerous with Jordan Love. Why is Alex Mago listed as a receiver? Isn't he the backup quarterback?
I don't know why he's there. But this is not official, though. They don't do official depth charts until later.
Yeah, but why do they have a quarterback at receiver? This is Alex Mago from the USFL, correct?
I don't know, man. I want to ask. O-line.
Interesting. I just want to know.
O-line.
Did he really move to wide receiver?
Maybe they threw him over there. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
If is he that athletic? Holy shit.
I have not been following. Let's see. Yep, American football wide receiver and former quarterback. Yep. There you go.
How did I not know they moved Mago to receiver?
How's it want to
I mean, he was a good quarterback. Wow.
If worms had machine guns, then birds wouldn't be scared of them.
What do they say, husband? Brownies are cheap.
I am now actually sorry. I'm rooting for Alex Mago to be your leading receiver, Tom.
Hey, listen.
Nothing would make me happier than to see a former USFL quarterback,
hell yeah,
turned receiver, lead the team in receiving yards.
Pretty great. Offensive line. So Rasheed Walker, there's a lot of faith right now with him at left tackle. Josh Myers, a lot of Packers fans are still like, I don't know about him, and they're just going to put out the best five there. Obviously, they drafted Jordan Morgan. We'll see kind of where they're going to throw him. We had two breakout tight ends at different times. Luke Musgrave, they both drafted both at the same time. Musgrave had a great start to the season, got hurt. Tucker Kraft came in. He started to have a good season as well. So I like where the tight end room is. And then running back, this is where we got a whole bunch of new faces. Aaron Jones, gone. Josh Jacobs, though, love this, stayed back and was also like in Wisconsin doing a whole bunch of volunteer work, hanging around the team, and is like, no, I saw what Aaron Jones was for this team, and I want to be that guy too, giving back to the community, being around the team. So love that. If he's healthy, they're going to be rocking and rolling with him. And then, as you highlighted, Marshawn Lloyd.
I think that's a solid draft pick. Could be huge for the offense. Josh Jacobs, it's nice that he's not a Raider anymore because I've always really liked Josh Jacobs. Yeah. And now I can root for him to be successful. God damn it, Cole. Everybody unsubscribe to Cole right now.
It's true.
Son of a
we
bitch.
only saw them for like half a season each, but yes, I'm curious to see what they're going to do there. AJ Dillon's coming back and he's looking pretty jacked, but we'll see kind of what the roster looks like. So the offense comes down to Jordan Love, but if Love can have a similar amount of production that he did last year, like this is gonna be a good offense.
Yeah,
And
Love
I'm
shouldn't take a step back. You know,
I'm so excited for them. The defense is where there's all the question marks, right? Because they have McKinney is the biggest free agent acquisition that we have had in a while. just for what the impact he's going to have on that team, because that was the other roster group where we just threw our hands up and go, I don't know what we're doing at safety. Let's just figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Getting McKinney there, who's in his prime, who's really effing good, that is a game changer.
Ooh,
so,
let me give you a question.
Yeah.
Whose health is more important to the team's success? Christian Watson, Eric Stokes?
Eric Stokes. It's Eric Stokes because that's like the big question mark right now.
Right, but Valentine was pretty good, right?
Valentine was pretty good. Yeah. I mean, Stokes he has that speed. He just hasn't played in like 2 years. He played for a hot second last year and then hurt his hamstring. So Stokes, again, the team seems to have a lot of faith in him. Like everything LaFleur says, a lot of faith in him. But yeah, we just got to see if he's going to be healthy. And then looking at what we did at linebacker as well, Quay Walker was the best linebacker we had last year. They draft Cooper. They draft Hopper. I'm really, really excited for Cooper and seeing what they're doing there. But we brought in a new defensive coordinator, too. You have Hafley, who's changing the scheme as well. So they're going to be trying to emphasize getting after the quarterback. I'm so excited for Rashawn Gary this season. We're going to see if Lucas Van Ness can have that breakout season. They drafted him really high, but he was just a really raw talent. And you saw flashes of it. Like at the end of last season, we're like, okay, like if he can develop that technique a little bit, he's going to be really good. But I am just cautiously optimistic about the defense because I've been hurt and burned so many times. So we just need to see what it's going to look like.
Yeah. Whenever I look like at a team's depth chart before like a football season starts, I can talk myself into that team being very good easily. It's like, oh yeah, this guy, like you could watch one guy who was kind of like shitty all season, but the game you watched, he looked good.
Yeah.
Like that guy is really good. Anytime it's like, oh yeah, this team has a ton of talent. And all the teams do. It's just so easy once you like see when you're looking at all the players, like, yeah, there are so many underrated guys on here.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Packers and the Lions have the most complete rosters in the North. The Vikings could be there, depending. They've got the massive questions at QB, and the Bears are getting there.
So, when it comes to standings,
how do we officially stack it?
I know that it's going to be very. Use a home. I think the Packers win the North. I think it's neck and neck with the Lions. I think they win the North.
I think the Lions will win the North. I think the Packers will. Yeah, I think it'll be like a game difference between those two.
I think it's going to be right there. Like it's going to be neck and neck.
I'm going to go Vikings actually do finish third, and it's because Sam Darnold starts all season long.
Okay.
Sorry, Bears. Bears are going to be better. Bears fans are going to be optimistic, but you'll be in last place.
Okay. I got the Vikings finishing last. That's a hope and also a prediction. So I want to be very clear. I want to be very clear. Be very, very clear. But no, I mean, dude, it's just, I mean, look at the last time the Packers played the Lions on Thanksgiving, injured, went into Detroit and whooped their ass. That's why I really wanted to see the NFC Championship game. Now, they came to Lambeau earlier in the season on Thursday Night Football, and they whooped our ass. So, like, that's why I wanted to have that rubber match of the NFC Championship game. It would have been so much fun.
Yeah.
But, like, now it's just, okay, they improved their secondary. Packers improved offense, definitely, getting some other weapons there. Defense, they made the change. They got rid of Joe Barry. If that defense can be a top 10 defense, even top 15, I would argue, especially run defense, the Packers are going to be a much better football team.
Yeah. If they can be an opportunistic defense too, like they don't have to be perfect, but that's very true. I watched a lot of teams look better than the Broncos. It's like, get that offense just another opportunity or two in games.
Yeah.
And I think that'll benefit them without having to be like, a defense that is top 5 in points allowed or any of that shit.
Exactly.
The Packers feel like they can score points next year with the best of them. The Lions can score points. So,
I mean, look at the Lions and the Packers, right? Both of those teams almost knocked off the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Yeah.
Like the reigning NFC champions. Both of them could have done it. So, like, the North is going to be a lot of fun. I would not be surprised if the Packers and Lions split. it's going to be competitive. And then you have two potential rising teams in the Bears and the Vikings, but we got to see what's going on with their QB situation.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
It's like Jordan Love should be the best quarterback in the division this season based on what he did last year. Jared Goff's going to be your most, at this point, consistent QB there. And it's just kind of like, we don't know where Love can go quite yet. We saw a lot last year. So if he can pick up, then it'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I ain't betting against Goff yet. I ain't beating against Goff yet. No way, no how.
That's it. Perna, what do you got coming out today?
Nothing.
Beautiful.
Go watch the random game Barks and I recapped yesterday.
There you go. There you go.
I've got a WNBA episode done. Should I post it Friday? I don't think anybody's going to watch on the 4th. Probably hold that off to Friday, or I should get another video up and then do WNBA. Don't know yet. Tell me strategery, guys. What do you got, Tom?
I went to Forbidden Door on Sunday, which was effing awesome. I got like a 21-minute vlog coming out for that literally today. So that'll be coming out. And then tomorrow I'll be streaming for over 8 hours for the North Saga on the 4th of July. So I'll be doing that.
Tight.
Which offense do you actually like for the next couple of years? It depends. Keenan Allen's going to most likely be gone next year from the Bears, but it's just going to depend on what Caleb Williams does and what Rome does. Right now, I think if J.J. McCarthy can be that guy, because I don't know how long Aaron Jones is going to stick around, but if J.J. McCarthy can be that guy, they have 2 stud wide receivers also. I'd probably lean right this second because they just got Swift. I might lean Chicago, but it's like that much of a difference. Like that much.
I think I kind of like the Vikings offense a little better.
Their offensive line I like more.
I like Hawk. Addison was really good last year. Aaron Jones being there, I think, helps a big deficiency in the run game. So, but yeah, it is close. Like if Caleb Williams is good, then the Bears offense is going to look legit as hell.
Exactly. So
they also got stung by a bee this week too.
It's just not a great week for you, buddy.
Oh yeah, fixed my bike finally. Let's go out for my first bike ride. Stung by a bee less than 5 minutes into the ride. And I get hacked. I was on the phone and dealing with the cable company for 2 hours on Monday. May next week, after America turns 3,000 years old, it shall be better.
Get off my lawn.
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
How's getting stung by a bee make me old?
Oh, I was just good because of complaining.
Did you get stung by a bee this week?
No.
Well, when you do, if you complain, you will be old man guy.
I like it. You'll never know.
Oh, yeah. Now you're just not going to say anything if you get stung by a bee.
Still
well,
win.
Bees can't even see you.
Because I'm what? Because I'm so
You're
white?
too bright. You just look like
fair.
the sun.
They're just like, there's like,
they
they
fly away
towards the sun.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. This is GPS. And you have been navigated. Have they reached their destination, Perna? No?
Is that true? Yes, you've reached your destination.